Ayan. Module. Is it this one? Can you see the slides?
Yes po.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so we're going to discuss whatever we can just briefly today. So this is the slide from Sir Musico from last sem. Okay. So if you have any questions, maybe you can just interrupt me. Okay. And okay. Yan. Sige, simulan na tayo. So here, in this slide, you can see the general form of the C program. First, you have this hashtag include. So we'll discuss more of this later. And then you have a main function. So doon sa main, dyan sa main na yan, you write your code or what you want to execute. Okay, so in this program, what happens is that I have a number equal to 26. And then what I do to the number is I subtract 1. Okay, okay lang kung this is just a brief introduction, no? So okay lang kung medyo hindi kayo familiar with the notation. We can discuss this later. So here, I subtract 1 from the number. So ano na yung value ng number ngayon?
25.
So 25 na yung value niya, no? Yan, 25. And then I print hello CE and then the number. Ayan. So yung %d, it just signifies the number. So num. Then this return 0, we'll discuss more of this later. Okay. So in-end niya lang, this is usually attached at the end of your code sa main. Okay, so ano yung output nito?
Hello, CE25. Ay, sure. Sorry.
Yan, tama. Hindi, tama yan. Ayan. Hello, CE25. Ayan. So, yan yung output niya. So, as I've discussed earlier, every C program has a function called main. So, doon sa main, yan, marks the beginning and end of the program execution. So, lahat ng gusto nyong i-execute ng program nyo, ilalagay nyo doon sa main. Yan. So, this is the general flow. So, my main function, you have a ano yan? bracket sign. Yan, bracket sign, and then all your statements that you want the program to do, and then return 0. So this return 0, it's just attached to your program to know that somehow your program performed correctly. Okay? Pero this is not required naman. This is just parang traditional, what is traditionally done in the main function. Okay? So it's just a good coding practice. Another way to print hello CE25. So tignan natin kung anong ginagawa ng program na to. So, again, I have this include. So ano ba yung include? It just includes all the libraries that you need. Okay, so when we say library, it has the necessary functions like this one, printf is included in stdio library. So mamaya in the next modules, madidiscuss din kung ano yung mga ginagawa nito. So again, we focus ourselves into the main function first. So ano yung nasa main? Merong I, meron akong integer na I or data na I. Meron akong characters na hello. Yun yung pangalan ng group of characters ko. Ayan. So yung parang dun sa orientation na discuss natin, meron akong diniscuss na arrays doon kung naalala nyo. So this one, hello, is an array. Hello is an array. And then what the array contains is hello CE25. So bilangin natin kung ilang characters yung nasa hello CE25. So 1, H, 1, 2, 3. Kita ba yung cursor ko?
Yep.
Kita ba yung?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So bilangin natin yung characters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yung space, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So yung 13 dito is yung number of characters dito sa text na to. Tapos what this for? So yung for loop. Okay? Yung for loop, sabi niya, for I equals 0, I is less than 13, I plus plus. So you add. So ang sinasabi lang nito, you start with 0. And then you enter the for loop. And then you print hello, the 0th member of hello. So take note lang ng arrays, ang numbering niya nagsisimula sa 0, hindi sa 1. No? So ito yung isang nakakalito sa C. Pero it has its uses na its uses. Other languages starts its counting by 1, so natural numbers. Pero sa C, it starts its counting in 0. Okay? At 0. So, ang hello, ang zeroth element ng hello ay H, 1 ay E, 2L, 3L, 4, O, and so on. Okay? So, nagsisimula siya sa 0. Ayan. So, magsisimula mo na sa 0, hello, hello 0. So, yung hello 0 is H. And then, uulit-ulitin niya tong command na ito hanggang I is less than 13. So kung pagka-repeat niya, naging I is equal to 13 na, then mag-stop yung for loop. And also, for every iteration, you add 1 to the I. Okay? So ganun yung syntax niya. So start with I equals 0. For every iteration, you add 1 to I. And then, this is the check. So, you do what is inside the for loop if I is less than 13. So, if equal to or greater than na siya, then it will exit. So, what do you think is the output of this program?
Di ba same lang sa kanina?
So, the output of this program is still hello CE25. So, there are many ways to print hello CE25. And then here, what happens? Let's look at the main again. Ayan. What happens here? So you have an I. You have an I. And then you print hello CE first. And then papasok ka sa for loop. Magsisimula sa 0. Tapos, i-check niya kung yung I mo is less than 9. Okay? And then I++. For every iteration, you add 1 to I. And then inside the for loop, you have an if statement. So sa if statement, ina-evaluate lang niya. If I is equal to 2, so double equal sign. Ganun yung syntax sa if. Hindi mo na tayo magfo-focus sa syntax ngayon because this will be discussed in the next module. I just want you to intuitively see how your code works, okay? So don't worry if medyo nakakalito yung mga syntax. But I'll read it as like a human reads it, okay? So if I is equal to 2 or I is equal to 5, you print I. Okay? You print I. And then print double exclamation mark. Ayan. After you go into this for loop. Okay? So what this output, what the output is will be, again, hello CE25. So una, print niya yung hello CE. Tama. Tapos pumunta ng for loop, in-evaluate niya kung yung 1 equals 2, hindi. So in-skip niya yun. Tapos nadagdag ay 0 muna pala, tapos nadagdagan ng 1 yung I, naging 1, hindi pa rin equal sa 2 or 5. So skip 2. Oops, equal na sa 2, so ipiprint ko siya dapat. And then and so on and so forth. 5, pag napunta na, pag I equals 5 na, ayan, ipiprint ko dapat yung I equals 5. Hanggang makaabot siya ng I equals 8 na less than 9. Okay ba? Ayan siya. So there, hello CE25. Ayan. Before I go on, yung mga participants dito, have you installed CodeBlocks or any build environment?
Yes po.
Na-install nyo na?
Is it the Xcode, sir?
Ayan, so for the Mac users yan, Xcode.
Okay.
And gumagana na sa inyo. You can build so let's try if gumagana sa inyo. You can copy this code. Ayan, you can copy this code and tell me kung napapagana niyo siya. Ayan. So can you click yes kung napagana niyo siya with this code and the output is CE25.
Sir, iba yung process pag sa Mac, diba?
Narinig ba ako kanina? Hindi.
Hindi po, sir.
Okay. So, I'm not familiar with Mac masyado, pero can you copy this file? Ayan, can you copy that file? And save it as a .c file. Okay? .c. Sa
Saan
Xcode.
Wait lang.
Yung iba, napagana niyo siya? Yan, may isang yes lang. Can you click yes kung napagana niyo siya? So that I know.
So important yung spacing, no?
Yung spacing,
Important ba? Like between the, kaya yung include, tas between the, yung arrow thingy. Yung space,
Hmm?
like, important ba
Ah.
siya, yung spacings between the words?
hindi naman necessarily important. So again, yung mga spaces na nakikita nyo, even yung spaces between this equal sign, yan, yung mga equal sign, and then dito na main, and then yung space dito, they're not necessarily important sa C. Well, essential siya if you want your code to be more readable, no? Kasi in practice, you're not the only one who will look at your code. Well, sometimes kapag kunwari personal na program nyo lang, you can do whatever you want, pero there are etiquettes kumbaga in coding, so that kunwari if you're in a collaborative group na collaboration with other programmers could understand your code. Isa pa lang yung nag-yes. So, are you trying to install and run it?
Sir, I'm confused sa Xcode. Like, I don't know which one to...
Yeah, may mga templates pa siya.
So much.
So medyo confusing din.
Yeah.
Can you share? I'll allow you to share kasi hindi ko rin.
Sige. Ay, hindi pwede mag-share.
Wait lang.
Guys, dapat new file lang, sa file tapos new empty file. Tapos pwede na i-program.
Empty file.
Sige.
file.
Can someone share? Wait lang. I'll stop sharing and then allow you to share. Para
Sa upper left, may file, sabing file, 'di ba? Wait, Windows ba to or Mac?
Mac.
Kamay na
Ay,
kamak.
never mind. Windows ako. Never mind.
Maybe ka mag-share or ako?
Sino ba yung inano ni sir? I mean, di ba he has to make you host?
I think
wait lang.
not pwede na.
I'll need to figure out first kung paano allow participant to share. Wait.
You click the participant, sir.
I'll click the participant. So, sino yung participant? Very quiet.
Ang cute na.
So, sino yung mag-share?
Si Lance na lang po.
Lance.
Lance Ethan Yu.
Okay, sige, Lance. Asan na? Saan na si Lance? Okay. And I'll make you co-host para makapag-share ka.
Wait.
Yeah.
So, if
So,
after ito,
create. Yeah. Wait, nawala ka.
Wait lang. Ito na lang.
Daming tinatago. Joke lang.
May mga template kasi siya, so I'm not sure which one to choose.
So, probably document lang.
Document app. Ano yung product name?
Ay, joke. Ano yun?
Teka lang. Sige nga, product name is helloworld.c. Can you enter? .c.
That?
But my account familiar with this.
Never mind. password ko. Pero, hindi ko rin gets kung...
Wait lang. Dali lang ah.
Baka ito.
How to make okay.
Meron yun sa sa Uble, parang paano sa Mac, pero I didn't really read it.
Hindi,
Pero
yung...
parang may another app.
Ito. Sabi ni Jefferson. Wait lang.
Tony Jefferson, select file, new, project, OSX.
What? Wait.
Sa
Wait lang,
chat,
let-
sa chat.
Oh. Hindi, naging ganito rin siya eh.
New project.
So, file, new, project,
File, new.
so OSX. Money.
Sir, kaya pa ba yung terminal sa Mac?
Yeah. You can actually... Sige. You copy...
Ayun.
Lance, is that the terminal or?
Terminal to, terminal.
wait lang.
Kasi sabi dun sa study guide, like magpo-provide ng document on how to like work it sa Mac. Pero
Yeah, hindi
Wala pa
ma-access
ako,
ngayon yung Uble
Yeah.
eh. Okay. Can I share? Ayan. Hindi yan yun eh.
yeah, iba pa.
Oh, there's
Ah.
another one yun.
May isa pang yan?
I mean, parang nasa I haven't really...
How about this?
Wait,
Ayan, nag-search ako ng how to run.
File, new. File, new project.
Sorry, hindi ako familiar with Apple eh.
It doesn't give you the option for the OS X kasi.
Oo nga eh.
Wala yung option.
For the OS X, yung like, it just opens up another window na either empty, wait lang, try mo to.
How about this one? Select file, new. Ito, Mac OS. Mac OS.
Wala.
Yan. Gagana ba if empty tas...
I mean, if you go to the command line tool, parang same lang. Meron siya product name, team, organization, yung mga kanina na pinil up.
Pag empty, ito yung nangyayari. Wait
Can you share?
Sige. So, pag empty, just
Yan, okay.
nagiging ganyan lang siya. I don't know, but pero yun. Ganito siya.
How can you edit the file?
I do not know.
Wait lang. Don't name it as C. Wait lang, ha? Mac OS. Yan.
So,
Mac OS command line tool. Yan. Anything, wag mo nang lagyan ng .c. Yan, hello.
Naging ganyan siya. Dapat ganito, dapat ang labo.
Tapos, punta ka. And then, wait lang ah.
Kasi when I open yung sample programs na ina-upload sa Oovlet dati, nagiging, wait, ganyan siya. So, I don't know how to get here.
Okay.
Wait. You go to file.
Hmm.
And then, new, file, click file. Tapos nandiyan yung mga CC stuff.
Yan, C
Oh.
file.
C++ or C?
C. C. Hello world.c. Yeah, okay.
Wala.
Yan.
Oh, okay, nice.
And
So,
then,
just copy ko na lang.
yeah. So after nung include, alisin mo muna yung include.
Just copy ko.
Yes.
Naka-pleasure yun. Wait lang.
Wait, anong, aalisin yung include?
Yeah, I think wala naman. May laman ba yung .h file
Wala.
na nandyan?
Wala dapat.
Tingnan mo nga kung yung .h file here.
This one?
Oh, may laman na siya.
Wait lang, sige. Ulitin ko na lang ulit kasi nagulo na ako.
Code. Yan. Ayan. So, okay na. Huwag mo nang i-delete kasi nandun na yung...
Copy ko lang yung code, like from the INT onwards?
Yes. Copy mo lang. Yan. Wait lang. I'll share. Ito. Ayan, can you see what I'm sharing?
Yep. Okay, so na-copy ko na. Ano pa paraan to?
Ayan, tapos na ba i-copy?
Na-copy ko na, pero more of the running, kung paano i-run.
So, can you open, may terminal ba dyan na option?
Wait, ano pa?
Ito. Here. Meron bang product and run?
Naka-gray out pa yung option for run eh. Like, yun.
Naka-gray
Naka-disable
pa.
siya. Yeah.
Sige.
Pero nung-
Can you find your terminal? Merong terminal.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you share? You share. And yan yung terminal.
Yeah.
Can you type this? Mm. Wait lang ah.
Important ba
May
yung spacing?
space. May space, yeah.
Ah,
Error. Wait, nasaan kang directory?
sa desktop yung file ko, dapat.
Nasa desktop ba yung command, yung terminal mo?
I do not know. Paano mo nalaman?
CD, I think, CD. Tapos, desktop. Wait lang.
Camille, ba't ako yung nag-share? Nag-pressure ako dito.
Sige lang, okay lang yan. At least you're,
Kaya mo yan. Dami po namang tinatago sa laptop. I don't know how to run it also.
Yung run yung problema. Ba't kita yung Mac? Bilhin na ng laptop. Bahala na. Alam ko
CD
kailangan din-
desktop.
Okay,
Yan,
sige,
nasa
tapos-
desktop ka na. And then you run, yan.
Wait, paano yan?
Search the terminal.
Yan.
Okay, tapos...
Okay. Yan, you can run it now. Yan, you run it.
Ah, okay.
Wait for
Yan.
me!
So, punta ako sa terminal, di ba?
Wait, okay. Okay, terminal. Eh, parang may nakalagay na siya.
Saan yung file mo? Like, saan mo sinave?
Sa desktop.
Yeah, so you have to write yung CD desktop daw. This thing. Highlight. Basta yan.
Wait. Ano ba yan? Wait, I'll send it to you, ah.
Sige, sige.
Ayaw mo mag-share na lang.
Yung
Ikaw pala may tinatago sa laptop mo eh.
Sige na nga.
Di ba dapat may laman yung C file bago? Sino yung mag-share?
Si Camille, di ba?
Si Camille. So what we did, yung kaninang nakalagay, yung CD desktop, what it does is it changes, yan, put CD desktop kung nasa desktop yung ano. CD space desktop.
Like, lagay ko lang siya? Shoot.
Yes, desktop. Yan, enter. Yan, so nasa desktop ka na. So what it did is to change your directory CD, change directory into desktop. Tapos put this one, yung nakasulat, yung GCC na sinulat ko sa chat.
Paano to?
Sige, okay lang. Yan, GC. Hindi, walang space yung O. GCC.
Wait lang, hanapin ko muna.
Pero yung file name mo ata depends. Kasi iba
Yeah,
file
it depends on your file name. So palitan mo na lang depende sa
CC.
file name.
Oh.
May space.
Yung, like, double talaga yan?
Yes. Explain ko mamaya kung ano yan, ano yung
Ay,
Pero sir, yung file name lang is the
Name.
last one.
Ha?
Kasi diba pag iba yung file name mo, ang papalitan mo lang is the second repetition, hindi yung first one. Kasi ba may dalawang Hello C25 ka? Doon sa sinend mo.
Yeah. Wait lang, explain ko mamaya kung ano yung ibig sabihin yan.
Sige.
wait, so do I change this one?
Yes. You can. You can. It's a common practice lang.
Wait, what do I do after?
Enter na.
Enter.
May lalabas na isang window pa dapat.
Yan. No such file.
Ba't ganon?
Nasaan ba yung helloworld.c mo?
Nasa desktop. Wait, bakit ganito?
Baka file name mo.
Try ko ulit. Tama naman file name ko. Enter ko ulit. Ay, shoot. No.
Hindi, okay lang yan.
Ako lang ako.
Do I just enter? Enter ko
Yes,
lang.
yes.
Tama naman siya. Like, hello world.c.
Baka na-double yung .c mo.
Hindi rin. Wait lang. Wait. Wait lang. Wait. Wait, ano ulit yung dito? CD desktop.
Yes.
Tapos,
Yan. What happened?
So desktop mo, baka, like, alam ko pag sa Mac, dapat magkakabagong file ka na parang executable. No, you have to click on that pa.
Ayan.
ayun,
Gumana na.
lumabas ng bagong ano. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, gumana na. So, what you did is this. Yung explain ko lang yung GCC, no? GCC is your compiler. So, you're calling your compiler. Ayan. Let me share. Let me share something. So can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes po.
So ayan. So yung ginawa nyo lang, actually sa terminal din ako nagbi-build eh. I don't really use code blocks kasi I'm utilizing a lot of files at once when I'm programming. Pero just the basic ones. So what you did is GCC. Ibig sabihin nito, you are calling your compiler, which is GCC, no? GCC is an open source compiler. So pwede nyo siyang i-download. Pero I think that yun na nga, sa Mac, it's naturally nandun na yung GCC kasi ganun siya gumagana yung program sa Mac. So GCC and then you call -o. So ano tong -o na ito? Itong -o na ito, wait lang, let me delete my exit factor. Yeah. So yung -o na yan means that you're making an object file and also you're making an executable file. -o, and then this one is hello world. So this one, yun nga sabi ni John kanina sa chat, is that hindi naman necessary na parehas yung yung pangalan nito. This just means that yung naka-type dito is it's the name of the executable file. So pwede kong baguhin ito hello lang. So ibig sabihin ang lalabas na file ko dapat na executable is hello. And then I type the source code. Okay? So if I run this, yeah. So as you can see here, merong hello.exe. Ayan. Which if I run it, so how to run it, kunwari nasa terminal ka, ayaw mo nang i-double click yung or i-open pa yung exe file. You can just open it in the terminal. You just type this. Yeah. So hello world ang lalabas. So I hope naintindihan nyo. Naintindihan nyo na. Okay. So sino pa yung mga nagkakaproblema with regards to running? Kung na-run nyo na, please click yes para alam ko kung magpo-proceed na ako. Guys? Guys, okay ba? Please click yes doon sa sa chat. Sa inyong Zoom. Yeah, okay na. Okay? Sige. So let me proceed with the Ayan, so can you see my slides now? The slides?
Yes po.
Okay. So sige, let's proceed. So I hope kaya nyo na mag-run ha. Yeah. So build process. Yeah. So here in this slide, it's just the goal of a programming language is to translate machine language into human language. Tama? Kasi ang machine language it's just ones and zeros. And you have heard before, ones and zeros lang, switch on and switch off lang yung computer language or machine language. And the goal of programming language like C is to make it readable to humans. Yan. Yan. Source program to object program. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, yung -O na ginawa natin sa terminal, if you saw earlier. Yung -O, it translates or compiles your source code into an object file, okay, which is a machine language. So you might be yeah, sige. Let's proceed. So ayan, source files. So C, header files. So yung kanina header files, we'll explain this later. And make file goes to a preprocessor and a compiler. Wait lang. Can I explain this? Maybe I can show I can show you something para lang um, para lang ma-appreciate nyo kung ano yung sinasabi dito, no? Yeah. Maybe I can show you something. Sandali. So, wait. Let me share again. So here, ayan. Now we're utilizing terminal since na-introduce na sa inyo kanina. So, ano yung ginagawa sa terminal? Okay. So, let's see. In pre-processing, what you do, so let's invoke again the compiler, which is GCC. Ayan. And then sa pre-processing, what happens is that I put a -e. So, it's a name for pre-processing. Hindi ko alam kung bakit -e yung for pre-processing, but that's what it is. Ayan. And then I call my source code. So anong nangyayari? So notice natin ha. Ito yung source code ko, okay? Let's see what happens. So ayan, nag-work yung pre-processing. Now what happened? Can you see? Dun sa terminal. Here, compare this one. Compare this one with this. What difference do you see?
Maiksi.
Sir,
Wala
wala
yung-
yung minus. I mean,
Well,
sorry, yung mas maikli po.
mas maikli. So nawala yung hashtag include, di ba? Tama. Nawala
Yes.
yung hashtag include. Ano pa yung nawala?
Yung printing hello world.
Yung printing hello world. So, yung printing hello world na yan is actually a comment. So what happens in pre-processing? What happens in pre-processing is the compiler shortens your code just including all those that is necessary to run the program. Okay, so ini-include na niya yung mga header files, which is this one, header files.h. Okay, header files. Header files include some functions that your program needs. Okay, so you're including it. Like this printf. This printf is included in the standard, yung std, IO, input output. So standard input output. So printf hello world. Yan. Kapag hindi ito kasama sa code nyo, hindi magra-run yung printf nyo. Yan ang ibig sabihin niyan. So what it does is, ito lang. Ginawa lang niyang shorter, deleting all the directives and deleting all the comments. So yun yung ginagawa ng preprocessor. How about compiling? Let's see. See if I can remember. Dali lang ah. Okay. So, yeah. Wait. GCC. Again, I invoke GCC .s and hello world.c. So, ayan. we have this thing right here. What is this? So dash S naman yung ginamit ko. Okay. So I'm just showing you what the compiler really does, no? So ayan. So ano yung hello world dot S? This is called the assembly language. If you're into computer engineering, ayan, ito yung mga ito yung mga and computer science. I don't know if they study this, but I guess yung mga nagde-design talaga ng machines, they have to know this, how to read assembly files. Okay, you don't need to understand it. I just want to show what happens in a computer program. Now, next is to make an object file. Yeah. So if I invoke again yung GCC, yung compiler natin, and I type -c, what is produced. So yung mga nagko-code block sa inyo, you might have seen this hello world.o, no? Okay? Kita nyo ba yung hello world.o kapag yung mga nagko-code blocks? Yung mga .o files. So .o is an object file. So palapit na tayo ng palapit dun sa language of your computer. So if you open this hello world.o, it's not really readable, no? Yan yung itsura niya. Hindi siya readable ng humans. Okay? So ito na yung tinatawag na computer language. We don't really know what's happening here. Pero that's how it's translating. So ginagawa na niya ng compiler niya. Tinatranslate na niya into machine language. So those are object files, yung itsura niya. Lastly, ayan, yung ginawa natin kanina, which is gcc-o hello world.o. Okay. No input files. Sorry. gcc-o hello world.c. .c pala. What? Wait, sorry. -o hello world.c. Yeah. So here nakuha na natin yung executable file. So ito yung sinasabi sa slide na ito. Ayan. Let me share again. Yan. So, ang ginawa natin, we invoke the preprocessor, we invoke the compiler to produce object files, and then we invoked the compiler again to produce an executable file. Now, yung linker is linking to some libraries. So, if you want to use a library, yan, you use the linker. We'll discuss more of this siguro kapag kakailangan na natin. Pero yung ginawa ko kanina, I did not use any linker kasi hindi naman kailangan. Okay? Ayan. So I've discussed this kanina. Yan. So you know what a preprocessor does now. You know what a compiler does now. It just translates your source code into an object file. Yeah, links the object code with other libraries. You don't really have to know this for now. Basta it links to other libraries. And then your loader, ito na, producing an executable file. And then it executes now once na na-produce na yung executable file. And okay na tayo dito. So this is just instructions on how to edit your code. You can actually use Notepad. Okay? Hindi nyo kailangan ng Xcode or anything na app. Basta may word processor kayo, pwedeng Microsoft Word or basta pwede kayong mag-type ng source code nyo. Pwede, no? Kahit Notepad pa yan. May questions ba so far? Wala naman. Okay. Sige. So note lang here, top to bottom approach. Ano yung ibig sabihin yan? Kung ano yung nakalagay sa source code nyo, it follows it line by line from the top to bottom. So line by line yung fina-follow. So ganun yung programming. Tokens. Yeah. So is there any questions? Hello guys.
Wala po.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay.
Ano, di ba yung compiler, ginagawa niya yung, ano ba yun, into object code?
Yes.
Para ano yun?
Para saan yun? You mean?
Yes. I mean, yeah, sorry.
Okay. Kasi it's for ano advanced usage. Kasi minsan, well, most of the time when you go into a lot of programming, what you want to do is to make a lot of source codes with different functionalities and then compile them into just one functionality. You know what I mean? Kunwari, you make a program that outputs something. Okay? So yun yung example lang, scenario lang. You make a program that outputs something, and yung output ng program na yon, kailangan mo dun sa another program. So you have two source codes now, two .c programs. Now, in order for them to work together, ang ginagawa is make object files for both of the source codes, C source codes, kunwari dalawang source codes, you make both object files. And then what the compiler does is to compile into one those two object files. Gets ba?
Yes po, gets na.
So, ayun. Ito actually, wait lang, let me show you. Let me show you one. Here, probably when we need it, siguro sometimes i-introduce ko itong make file to make your programming easier. Pero this make file is an automatic building para hindi na kayo type ng GCC. And yung make file is very useful in if you have a lot of source codes that you need to compile and dependent yung mga programs you with each other, ganyan. So just take note. So ayan. You can run. Ayan, yung compiler pala, in other words, yung compiler, if you have a lot of object files, from a lot of source codes, you can compile them into just one executable. Ayan, yun. Okay? So kaya siya tinatawag na compiler. Okay? Any more questions? Wala na? Sige, let's proceed with tokens. Tokens are, as written here, keyword special symbols identifiers. Ayan, tokens are the smallest individual unit of a program. Again, identifiers, keywords, and types of stuff. So here, tokens or keywords are the words that have special meanings in C. So here, you cannot use them into naming your variables. Okay? So, ang maganda sa C, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 4, 32. So, these are all the keywords in C that you need to remember. Well, hindi nyo naman kailangang i-remember, pero you can always just search this. Pero you cannot use this as variables. Okay? Okay. Kasi they have special meaning into the C compiler. For example, int. Int specifies that your data type is an integer. Yan, for example lang. Yan, for, hindi nyo rin pwedeng gamitin. Nakita nyo na yung for kanina. For specifies a loop. Char, nakita nyo rin kanina, specifies that the data type is a character. Okay, so yung mga ganitong things lang, just take note. Also, special symbols and operators, comma, you cannot use a comma just as a variable. What else? Yung mga plus equal sign. So hindi nyo rin yung, but they have special meanings in the C compiler. So these are all the special symbols that you need to remember. Okay? So nakita nyo din to kanina, no? This one. Yung prefix plus plus minus minus. Okay? You don't actually need to remember this, like really memorize it. You can remember this by constantly using it while you're programming. So don't worry. Basta ina-apply niyo itong mga things na to, you will remember it at once. This is mathematical symbols. Also this one, I just want to take note yung equality and this assignment. So you can see here, double equal sign, and then here, single equal sign. So they have different meanings in C, no? In C, you use this double equal sign if you want to check for equality. Like what we did kanina. Sige, I will show you later. And then single equal sign if you want to assign something. So let's go back to yung mga programs kanina. Here, I assigned the number 20. I assigned 26 to the variable num. Okay, so after this line, num is equal to 26. So that's an assignment. You assign the value to the variable num. So yung mga sinasabi kong variable kanina is anything arbitrary na name. That's the name of something, name of the data. Ayan. So ano naman yung assignment? Ano naman yung checking for equality? Let me see. I showed you kanina. Ayan. Here. See this double equal sign? This doesn't assign two to the variable I. What it does is it checks if I is equal to 2. Gets niyo yung difference? Gets niyo yung difference, guys?
Wait, sir, pwede pa ulit?
Okay, sige. Ulitin natin. Here, dito tayo. Here, in this case, pag single equal sign, yan, single equal sign, yung number na 26 is assigned to the variable num. Okay? So you are assigning, you are saying to the compiler na, hey compiler, num is equal to 26. Okay? So after this line, after line 6, num is now equal to 26. Okay ba?
Apo.
Yes.
Okay. So here, wait lang ah. Wait lang ah. Okay. Let me share again. Sorry. Sandali ah. Dali lang. Ayan. So in this case, I double equals 2. Here, you are not assigning 2 to the variable I. Okay? What that does is that you're checking if I is equal to 2. You're just checking. Hindi mo ina-assign. Gets?
Yep. Yep.
So for example, you go into this for loop, no? For loop. And papasok ka dito, I equals 0. So you assigned I to 0. Tapos papasok siya sa for loop. Pagdating dito, after line 10, the value of I is still equal to 0, no? Hindi siya napalitan. It just checked whether I is equal to 2, but not assigned it. Ayun lang. So gets na ba? Okay. Sige. Sige. Special symbols. Yan. So kanina pa ako variables ng variables, pero ano ba yung variables? In another name for variables is identifiers. Yan, identifiers. So it's anything that you want as a name. Okay? Anything, yung kaninang num na ginamit ko, that's a variable. That's yung I, yung integer na I, yon isa yung variable. Okay? So just take note that a variable or an identifier cannot be named similar to the keywords. Ayan. So bawal to gamitin as a name for your identifier or your variable. Ano pa? The identifier or the variable must start with an alphabetic character or uppercase or lowercase, either uppercase or lowercase or an underscore. So hindi nyo pwedeng gamitin as a variable yung nagsisimula sa numbers, no? Dapat laging nagsisimula yung identifier or variable nyo as an alphabetic character or underscore. Yan. Again, kakasabi ko lang kanina, must not be a keyword and must not include a special symbol or operator. Any questions from here? Comment. Ayan. Ginawa ko to kanina nung we were discussing preprocessor. Right? So, a comment, yan, is ignored by the compiler. Yan. So, tinatanggal siya after pre-processing. Yan. So, something like this is a comment. So, you can comment different lines. So, you can comment more than one line. Just add backslash. Hindi to slash ha, backslash ito. No. This is slash pala. Slash, sorry. This is a slash asterisk. Slash asterisk dun sa start of your line. And then to end the comment, asterisk slash. So another way of commenting, ayan, another way of commenting is by using double slash. Ayan. Pero ang double slash is for one-liner comment lang. No? Hindi siya pwedeng 2 or more. So ito pwedeng 2 or more. Pero ito for one-liner lang. Now here, hindi to pwede. No? Backslash pa. 3 backslash. So, I think pwede. Pwede ba yan? I think so. Yeah, pero this is a comment na. Okay? Next, includes white spaces. So white spaces are yung kaninang tinanong, may nagtanong din kung essential ba yung spaces doon sa source code, 'di ba? Kanina may nagtanong, sino nagtanong? Anyway, hindi, no? Si Lance ata yung nagtanong kanina. So, hindi siya essential, but what it does is you make your program more readable. Again, because a lot of programming requires collaboration. So, kapag big programs na, it's almost impossible to just code it by yourself. So, in order to make it more readable, you have this etiquettes of using blanks, using tabs, and new line. In order to for other humans to understand your code. Okay? Any questions?
Wala po.
Okay lang. Sige. Data types. Data types. So for data types, you have 3 data types. So ito, dinidiscuss ko din to kanina nung nagdi-discuss tayo about the basic C programming flow no ng program nyo. You have seen integers, characters, and strings. So let's see how to make data types or assign data types. So we're just focusing on simple data types for now. Okay? Yung structured and pointers maybe in the later part of the sem. So simple data types, you have an integral and you have a floating point. Okay, so integral deals with integers and the floating point deals with decimal numbers. So this is essential. There are times that you want to just use integers. Like for example, if you're just counting, so hindi ka naman nagka-count with decimal points, diba? So just 1, 2, 3, ganyan. Walang decimal points. Floating point, of course, for other values requiring decimal points. For example, you're computing for the weight. Ayan, may mga yan. May mga decimal points yan. Or computing for a force. Ganyan. Now, integral types. Ayan. Char, int, and bool. Nakita niyo na yung int kanina, di ba? And I think nakita niyo na rin yung char. Char. Yung bool hindi niyo pa nakikita. But let me explain. Yung char is just character. So as you saw earlier, yung characters, no? So any characters like alphanumeric characters, yan. Sa char yun. Int, integers. Yan. So mga 0, 1, 2, negative, ganyan. Bool is just saying if it's either true or false. So dalawa lang yung value ng bool. It's either true or false. Now we have some modifiers for integral types. Or even in the floating types. Pwede itong modifiers na to. Sa signed, although in my personal experience, you don't need to know this if you're just going to pass CE25. To pass CE25, it's just additional knowledge for you. But okay, so yung signed, as its name suggests, pwede siyang positive or negative. Okay? Unsigned, ano lang siya, absolute value, no? So wala siyang sign. Short and long, it just modifies how much memory you're assigning to the data type. So you don't need to know much of this for now. Yan. Nilagay ko lang. And then for the floating types, so again, the float deals with integers. Ayan. So float, double, long, double. Float. Yeah. So it deals with integers. I think ang difference lang ng mga to, again, is how much memory you allocate for the data. So in increasing order, or increasing magnitude of memory you allocate is this. So float, pinakamaliit, double, and then long double. And then the void type. So what is the void type? Void type is actually it has no value. Thus the name void. What it does, if it's in a function, it just tells the process. So we'll discuss more of this type, yung void type, when we discuss functions, okay? In the next modules pa yan. So I just want you to appreciate and at least differentiate for now yung mga integral types and floating types, and at least have a knowledge of what the void type does, which is it just tells the process of a code, okay? More of that in the next modules. Ayan, int data type. Nga sinabi ko kanina. Ayan, integers lang siya. Okay. Next, bool type. Sabi ko rin kanina, it's either true or false. When do we usually do this? Logical values. Yeah, manipulate logical expressions. Sometimes you want to use that. Okay, char data type. Yan siya. So alphanumeric characters or any characters that you want to use. Pwedeng space pa nga eh. Okay? As long as it is enclosed in enclosed in a quotation, single quotation mark, or even double quotation. I'm not sure. Yeah, single quotation mark. I'm not sure. Yung ibang compilers kasi they are very strict with that. There are some compilers that is very very strict with the syntax. Pero other compilers, gumagana naman siya. So, you might want to check if okay sa kanya yung double quotes or single quotes lang yung tinatanggap ng compiler niyo. Okay? Depends on your computer. Floating, ayan. Float represents decimal numbers up to 6 decimal places. While double can have 15 decimal places. So again, as I've said earlier, yung allocation lang ng memory yung pinagkaiba nila. But they are both representing decimal numbers. Ayan. So we're going to hear how much storage does your computer have. Ayan. So ito yung pinagkaiba nila, no? Any questions here? Maganda sigurong isipin, no? Ilan kaya yung double, ilan kaya yung float na maha-handle ng computer ko? Yan. So kung yung computer nyo contains 1 terabyte, so much information that you can input it. It's really hard to imagine like 50 years ago. 50 years ago. Ayan, sobrang konti lang ng memory space nila. Naabutan nyo pa ba yung diskette? Sino nakaabot pa nun?
Nang?
Naabutan nyo pa? Sino nakaabot? Yan. Nakita sa bahay. Ayan. So yung diskette, ilan lang yung memory nun? May mga diskette pa akong nakita dati, kilobytes lang eh. Kilobytes lang siya. So very, very small. Actually, very, very ano na yun. Marami na nga yun at that time. But as technology progressed, of course, bumilis na yung computers nyo, tumaas na rin yung memory. Even the computers that they used to go to the moon, imagine, is weaker than your cell phones now. Ganun kalala yung progress ng technology. So yung handheld cell phones yung ngayon is much stronger than what they use going to the moon. Ayan. So nandito na rin yung mga ranges ng char. So bakit ito 255 lang? Because there are only 255 characters. What do you call this? Yung standard na characters that they use, that they universally use. I forgot the name. But yeah, you have only 256 characters. So 0 to 255. Memory concepts. Yep, I think we have covered this. Ayan, so yan, data type and then the identifier. You saw this earlier, yung kanina example, int, which is the data type, and then the identifier is num. So the num, yung kanina, is an integer. That's what it says. So this is how you declare a variable. Okay? You can define more than one variables in a declaration by using multiple declarators separated by commas. Okay, I think it's self-explanatory. Ayan. So for example, you have this one. So you don't need to have a lot of lines if you declare a lot of variables. You can just separate them by commas. Also very important, this is one of the common mistakes of C programmers and even me when I'm programming in C. Kasi I also explored other languages nung ako ay even now I explore a lot of languages, and ayun, nakakalimutan ko na rin maglagay ng semicolon. So just take note na kailangan ng semicolon to separate the command lines of C. Ayan. Variable declarations, yun nga sinabi ko kanina. This is assignment of values. So here in this line, you assign 45 to integer 1. Okay, so single equal sign. You can also store a value by initialization. So yeah, instead of having two lines, you can just add the equals 45 here. Depends on you. Okay, they do the same thing. Variable names corresponds to locations in the computer's memory. So what does this say? Ayan. Let's show everything. Yeah. So if you do this one, what the computer does is int. So how much memory does int take? So it takes 4 bytes. So yeah. So when your program reads this, sasabihin niya dun sa RAM nyo. So yan, yung RAM. No? If you're familiar with your computer, it has a random access memory. Usually your RAM will have, for a normal computer now, may 2 gig RAM. Yung sa akin is 16 gig. So you will have 4 bytes of memory. Yeah. And the name of that memory space will be integer 1. And it will store a value of 45 into that memory space. Yan lang. Yan lang yung ginagawa sa declaration. So careful lang if you're really into if you're programming big programs, which requires a lot of memory, huwag kayong mag-exceed ng RAM nyo. Because of course, your program will fail kasi no space na for a lot of variables. Pero that rarely happens kasi as you can see, 4 bytes lang naman yung int, and you have a lot, like gigabytes of data that you can use. So no worries. Problem lang ito siguro noon 50 years, 40 years ago. This one is very important. Sige. Let's show. So what happens here is that I declare integer 1 as an int. And then I assign a value of 25 to integer 1. So in the memory space here, I have a value of 25. After this line, the value of the integer is equal to 25. However, when I put the line integer 1 equals 45, it will replace, or it will destroy, thus destructive process, it will destroy the value 25 in the memory space of integer 1 and replace it with 45. Okay? So ganun yung nangyari. So this is a destructive process. Okay, any questions from here?
None po.
So here, integer 1 equals 25. May chat. Wala naman. Okay. So integer 1 equals 25. And then after this line, na-destroy yung 25, nawala na siya, napalitan ng 45. Now, what happens when I have an integer 2? So iba ng memory space ito, no? Iba na yung memory space niya. So it will create another memory space, integer 2, and assign a value of 72 in that integer space. So the location of integer 1 and integer 2 are not necessarily adjacent in memory. So this one, we'll discuss more of this when we go into pointers, which is the last topic of programming in CE25. So just so you know, the memory space has an address, okay? And you can tap into that address for some reasons that makes C so efficient that you want to use it. And so just preview lang of what will happen in pointers. Yeah. Yeah. So after this, int sum. So what does this do? What does this do? Yeah. So it makes a memory space named sum. Okay. And then you assign, so single equal sign, you assign integer 1 plus integer 2 in that sum. So wala na yung 25 ha, na-erase na yung 25. Yung integer 1 mo ngayon is 45 plus integer 2, 72. That's 117. Okay? Yeah. What happens? Ayan, okay. So the values of integer 1 and integer 2 were used but not destroyed in the calculation. So hindi nagbago yung integer 1 and integer 2. Yun lang yung sabihin niya. Kasi hindi ka naman nag-assign ng bagong thing dun sa integer 1 and integer 2 after this line. So this is what we call the non-destructive process, when a value is read from a location in the memory but not changed. Yan, hindi ka nag-assign ng bagong value. So this is example 1A. So I hope included naman ito dun sa pag okay na ulit yung oble. Okay? So just try this one. Included naman siya. And see what happens. So here, yan, you declare month as an integer. You declare the expense and the income as floating type. So ibig sabihin decimal sila. And then you assign month equals 12. Yan. Expense is this one and the income is this one. And then you just print. Again, itong printf function na ito is included dito sa standard stdio input-output header file. So ayan. Now, you might see %d. Ano ba itong %d? %d is a replace, what do you call this? A substitute, like a substitute for any integer, no? So in this case, yung integer na nire-replace ng %d is the month. So you will have an idea ano yung output nito. The expenses were %lf. Ano tong %lf? %lf is for the float. Actually, pwedeng f lang yan. Yan, as you can see here. %lf. Now, let's see what the difference is. So on the output of this one is this. Is there a difference dun sa %lf? None, no? They have the same. Yes, there's a difference. 12111.1. And then yung nakalagay dito is some number. Why? What happened? Allocation yan ng memory. So long float. Dapat, in order for this to be 12111.1, ito, the expense should be a double type. Okay? So, so hindi compatible yung data type niya. This one is correct, %F. So 1000.0. And it's correct. So that's what happened. Okay. Arithmetic and C. What's it? Take note lang yung module na to is 1.5 weeks. So, medyo madami-dami yung dinidiscuss natin. Ayan, so I'll just proceed. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, remainder. So, very, very, very straight to the point naman. No? Alam niyo na to. Something new na lang siguro dito is the remainder or what we call the modulo. So if you're into I just saw an application of the modulo operator in mathematics nung I delved into cryptography. Kasi very use yung concept ng modulo, no? Pero yeah, you can use it if necessary, but most of the time what you will use is this plus minus times divide lang. Okay? Arithmetic operations return a value with the data type of operand with the larger storage. Okay. So what does this say? Ayan. So just remember that dapat compatible yung data types na dinidivide nyo. So for example here, 2 and 5 are both integers, right? So you can add them. Can you add this one? No, because they are of different types. So yung compiler nyo, nalilito, ano nga ba yung type ng sum nito? Tama? Kasi yung isa int, yung isa float. So ano kaya yung type niya? So nalilito yung compiler nyo, baka hindi niya gawin ito. Again, for other compilers, hindi sila masyadong strict in terms of this, pero most of the time your compiler will send a warning or even an error when you try to do this. Same with this one. Okay. C operators. So again, balik tayo sa elementary. So ayan, follows the same rules with algebra or arithmetic. Okay? So alam niyo na to, I hope. Tama? And yung mga nagpo-post sa Facebook, yung mga what's the answer to this one? Anyway, yung mga format naman nila is very dubious. So it's really nakakalito. Pero I hope that you know this one. Ayan. PEMDAS. Okay? So yan daw muna-una, tsaka to, tsaka yan, tsaka magpa-plus and then magpa-minus. Okay? So I hope you know this already. Ayan. So just answer this one. So ano yung una? 8 times 1. Tama ba? 8 times 1. So 8 divided by 2, 4. 5 plus 4, 9 minus 4, 5. Okay? So 5. Dito, so una muna yung parenthesis. 3 times 5, 15 divided by 3. 15 divided by 3. 3. Yan. 3 divided by 4. What? Wait lang. Ano nangyari dito?
Remainder ata yung isa, sir.
Remainder. Oo nga pala. 3 times 5. Yeah. Sorry. Malik mata. 15 divided by modulo 3. So what's the remainder of 15 divided by 3? 0, no?
Yes.
0. So 3 divided by 4 plus 0 is what? Bakit 0 yung answer? Can anyone tell me?
Kasi integer dapat.
Yeah, correct. So integer dapat siya. So yung 3 divided by 4, integer siya eh. So hindi niya kayang mag-output. Tama, na-truncate. Hindi niya kayang mag-output ng decimal because what you're dividing are integers. Wait lang. Excuse me lang. I'll be back in a minute. Okay. Take note lang class if you want to get together with your classmates, you can always use this Zoom meeting, no? So if you want to collaborate, tapos maybe if I see you are in a meeting, then you can email me, sir, patulong ng ganito. So maybe if I'm not busy at that time, I'll be there. So you can always use the Zoom meeting. Okay? Ayan. So let's go back. So again, here you can try this on your own and understand the code. It's very straightforward naman. And here is the output. Okay? Again, another program. And here's the output. Ayan, assignment operation is destructive. What does this mean? Nakita nyo to kanina or not? Yeah, hindi ata. Hindi nyo to nakita. Placing a value in a memory location replaces the value in that location. For example, here, variable equals variable operator expression. So hindi siya parang math, no? This is an assignment. So ibig sabihin, after this line, c equals c plus 3, you add 3 to the current value of c. And then after this line, the value of c now is c plus 3. Yun lang. Now you can shorten this by instead of doing this, you just do this as a shorter version. So for example, before this line, the value of c is 1. After this line, the value of c now is 4. Yan, so nag-add ka lang ng 3. Destructive siya kasi na-delete yung 1, replaced by 4. Now, pre-incrementing and pre-decrementing and post-incrementing or decrementing. Ayan. So in this case, a variable causes the variable to be incremented by 1 then the new value of the variable is used in the expression in which it appears. In my case, I don't actually do this kasi pampalito siya sa program, but it's good to know. It's good to know. For example, what's the difference of plus plus a and plus a plus plus? Let's see. Let's see here. So in this program, you have first, nag-assign ka ng value of 3 sa C. Now you print the value and you should expect that what you print in the %d here is equal to 3. Tama? Ayan. So the initial value of C is 3. Okay, back to the program. Now what you do here is to add 5 to the value of C. Okay, so 3 siya plus 5. So what you expect here is 8. Right? Yeah, 8. Now, pre and post incrementing. Now, you assign a value of 5. So, na-destroy na yung 8. So, you assign again a value of 5. So, you expect here a value of 5 in line 19. After line 19, you expect a value of 5, which is this one. The value of C is equal to 5. C, during post incrementing. So, what happens kaya? What happens? So, %d, okay, what do you think is the value? So, plus plus, nahuli yung plus plus, no? So, ibig sabihin, post-incrementing to, but in this line, what you should expect since post-incrementing is na-retain pa rin yung value. Yeah, tama. So, ilalabas niya muna yung value bago dagdagan ng value. Okay. So, ilalabas niya muna yung 5. Okay. Yan. Lalabas niya muna yung 5. And then, after this line, ang value na ng C is 6. So, C after post-incrementing. So, 6. Yan siya. Now, for pre-incrementing, again, you assign a value of 5. So, what you expect here is 5, which is this. And then C during pre-incrementing. So, nauna yung plus plus. So, what you should expect here is that yung value na lalabas ay na-add na yung 1. Okay, so 6 na siya. At that line na. Then after pre-incrementing, of course, wala naman nang nagbago sa C. So, it is 6. Okay, gets naman?
Opo.
Okay, yan, malinaw. Okay, sige. C statements either perform actions and make decisions. So this is what I'm saying kanina, no? The difference between single equal sign and double equal sign. So this is for just check or for decision making. Ayan. So ang notable lang dito is yung double equal sign. Sometimes nung nag-start ako ng programming, I spent like mga 30 minutes in finding what's wrong with my program. Ayun. So here, yun lang pala. Ang ginamit ko dun sa program ko is a single equal sign instead of double equal sign. So just be careful. Take note of it. This one is not equal. No? Ito yung symbol for not equal. And you know this, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So, very straightforward. Typecasting. Ayan. So, in my experience, I don't personally use this typecasting, but there are sometimes you want to do this. I use typecasting noong I'm using another language, which is Python. Kasi sa Python, you don't really have to declare what data type your variable is. It's weird. So in my case, what I always do just to skip this process of typecasting is to first first ayan first at yung declaration ko pa lang ng variable is tama na. So in this case, nagkamali siya ng declaration ng variable, or I don't know why, pero yung total niya naka-int instead of double. So dun sa program niya pinalitan niya ng double yung total. I know now. Kasi you want your average. You want yung kaninang lumabas, yung kaninang 3 divided by 4, 'di ba? Instead of 0.75 yung result, naging 0 kasi everything was an int. So, yeah. Everything was an int. So, in this case, in order for the average to be double, yan. So, ginawa niya munang double type yung total. So, ginawa niyang decimal muna yung total. Ayan. So, I guess that's one of the uses. But, technically, I don't usually do this. Kasi, una pa lang, yung data type ko is fixed na. Just for me to be more consistent and the code to be more manageable for me. But it depends on you kung gusto niyong gamitin. Okay? Where are we? Ayan, so lunch na, no? Although our class is still at 1, still is hanggang 1. So do you want me to continue pa? Or pagod na kayo?
Pagod na po.
Okay, so ano na, no? Information overload. Gutom na. Sige. Gutom na. Ayan. Continue pa daw, sabi ni John. Okay. So, sige. Let me see. Kalahati pa lang tayo, no? Kalahati pa siya. So, mahaba-haba itong module na to. This is actually for 1.5 weeks. Okay. That was si Camille. Ayan. So, I guess we can stop right there. No? And if ever accessible na ulit yung Ovle, you can read more and study. Okay? So yung mga susunod naman is detecting errors na eh. Yeah. Detecting errors. Yung Ovlenyo pagod na. Okay. Sige. Should we end the meeting now? Yeah, para makapag-lunch din kayo. Ako.
Sige po.
Okay, so kung may problem kayo with anything, you can just always email me, no? And you can always collaborate with your classmates. Kunwari, nagko-code na kayo, collaborate with them so that, and you can use this meeting room. Open naman siya palagi. Okay? Sige. Happy lunch, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Sir. sir.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Sir.
So this is recorded.
Sir,
So you can
yung recording, no, sir?
Sir.
sige, this is recorded so I'll just upload it kung okay na yung ulit. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.